Welcome to Authentic with Brazil 201. I'm your host, Brazil 201, your future Golden Globe nominee for Best Podcast. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about the movie Oh Hi, starring Molly Gordon and Logan Lerman, written and I believe also directed by Molly Gordon. The movie premiered at Sundance. I think this movie is actually very original. Okay, I think it's pretty good, actually pretty good, and I think we need to allow more movies like this to come out. It is a horror romance movie, and this movie really informed me that you should never date any woman who lives in Brooklyn. Not just Bushwick and Williamsburg, but in general, avoid women who live in Brooklyn. So, the movie begins about halfway into the movie before we jump back. It starts with uh, I can't remember the other character's name, but it starts with Mel from Thunderbolts arriving at the farmhouse where Molly Gordon's character is staying, saying, I did something very bad. And then we flash back about 36 hours ago. Um, so Logan Lerman's character, whose name is Isaac, and Molly Gordon's characters, whose name is Iris, right? So Isaac, Iris, wow, such original names, are driving upstate to a place called Ojai, right? So this movie takes place in New York. And at first, I have a question. Do people who are in relationships and live in New York, is this a thing like on the fourth day? That's right. It specifically mentioned this is the fourth or fifth day. Do you go upstate to hike and stay at a farmhouse? Is this just a thing people want to do? Because I just want to say I refuse to go anywhere that is not Montauk or Long Branch. I have no interest in hiking or staying in a farmhouse. Also, I have no interest in dating any girl who ever lives in Brooklyn, let alone, first of all, I just, never Bushwick, never Williamsburg. But they're driving, they're listening to a song. It seems like they're a very happy couple because I guess this is like the first serious boyfriend girlfriend trip, which people do to see if it works. They see a woman selling strawberries on the side of the road because this is her strawberry farm. The strawberry owner lady is flirting with Isaac. And Molly Gordon's character begins to get really jealous. We learn Isaac's character can't really drive because he crashes into the strawberry car thing, so they're forced to buy all the strawberries. They arrive at the farmhouse, and then immediately he begins to eat her out. And I guess, right, if you're dating a girl, right, you're eating her out. Because usually if you're just fucking, you don't do that. Because, like, similar to when you're just, like, girls, they only suck dick to guys they're actually dating, not just ones they're randomly fucking. They talk about their life. Apparently, they've had both, tragic things. Molly Gordon's character's mom got divorced, and Logan Lerman's character, Isaac, he's like, I caught my dad cheating on my mother with the neighbor, and then he had to tell his mom, and then he got beat up by his dad. It's like, oh wow, very deep, real things. Okay, I know dates, so I don't know how this works. If this is like information you share, I just want to say I'm a very honest fuck boy, but you're not gonna get any like substantial substance from me. So Isaac's character, we learn his father. Yeah, his father is a U.S. senator in Minnesota or Wisconsin. This is a line that's just thrown out for some random reason, and he's like a finance guy. And Molly's character, Iris, is your standard Bushwick, I love Zoran, like millennial, but not with the pronoun and bio type of like Zoran voter, but like pretty close to that. They begin to explore the house. He makes scallops, and they find that the farmhouse had like a sex closet with rope and tying up shit and cuffs. They have sex. Molly looks amazing, naked. Then they're gonna have sex again. Uh, Isaac ties up Iris, but Iris is uncomfortable with it. And then Iris ties up Isaac. They have sex again. Molly looks like really, really good naked. Then they have this conversation after, and she's like, I'm so glad you're my boyfriend. And then like this crazy conversation happens that makes no sense. He's like, we're not really dating. I'm seeing other people. And this is the part I don't get because like if you're just fucking somebody, you're not going on like a romantic getaway trip with somebody. That's not something you do with just someone you're fucking. So this is the part I'm very confused with, especially with like the Isaac character, who seems to be like a smart fuck. Well, you would know this. Like that's a serious thing. And then they have this whole thing. It's like, yeah, like I'm fucking other people, but I'm making sure I'm using a condom, so that because we're fucking without a condom, and obviously it's about sexual health and things like this. Molly Gordon's character gets really mad and just leaves. And so now, for like almost the rest of the movie, Isaac is just chained like sex handcuffs to the bed. And now Molly Gordon's character is like, oh my god, what do I do? Because he lets her Logan Lerman character sleeps handcuffed like this. They wake up, and what happens is Molly begins like chat GPTing, how do I make a man like me stay? And the whole standard crazy white girl shit. So then what happens is Molly goes back to the bedroom and says, I'm going to leave you tied up for 12 hours. And if after 12 hours you don't like me, I'm going to let you go. And the Logan Lerman character is just like very angry and tied up. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to go to the bathroom? So he pees into a bowl next to her. Yeah. And then she does a dance from like when she was in sixth grade and got broken up with. And she just gets more crazy, crazy, and unhinged. Then it's finally been 12 hours. He wants to get let go. Uh, she says no, and she gives him a black eye. Then the girl from the beginning of the movie, who's Mel from Thunderbolts, whose character's name is, I believe, Max, comes upstate. They drove an hour and a half upstate because she lives in Brooklyn and they find out about everything. And now, what's interesting is that Max is dating your standard, like, annoying, ultra lib white boy, 6'4" Kenny guy who, like, has strong vegan energy. And he's like, I watch a lot of Law and Order, and we're all going to go to jail. You've left him tied up for 32 hours. This is a problem. We're all going to go to jail. Max believes that she's a witch. So their idea is we're going to create a sleeping potion so that he forgets the last 36 hours. This is a real plot line in the movie. They do this little spell while they're naked. Little do they know they left the windows open. So Isaac can hear this entire thing that's happening. So he knows to fake it when he wakes up to pretend like, oh, what happened? Yeah. So he goes to sleep after drinking the potion. Then he has a dream about the third date where he thought he was getting stood up by Iris. And then Iris comes to the bar. We see their third date. Apparently, Iris was crying or whatever. And then he kisses her. So it seemed like they were like kind of really dating. And then he, he had in the dream, Iris says, I hate you, which, probably is true. This entire thing is ridiculous. He wakes up. Logan Lerman's character pretends to be like, I never, I don't know what happened. I guess you forgot to untie me after we had sex. She unties him. He's like, oh, wow, what are you guys doing here? Because he sees the two friends. He gets the keys. He drives off. He takes the car. He drives off. And it's like thunderstorming. And they realize they're fucked. They're like, oh, shit, we should chase them. And then Molly Gordon's character is like, no, we're not getting in a high-speed chase. We're going to accept the consequences of this. He's going to go to the cops. We're all going to go to jail, blah, blah, blah. Then we get the call from the sheriff. And then we learn Logan Lerman's character got into a car accident. And yes, this is like a real thing that happens. So they have to go find him. And they find him in a ditch. He goes into an ambulance. And that's how the movie ends. I don't think that's how the movie should have ended, with like all of them going to jail, not this entire thing of him going into an ambulance. I liked the first 2/3 of this movie. I thought this was very realistic. I think almost every somewhat attractive woman who lives in Brooklyn is probably this level of crazy. This is why you don't date, women who live in Brooklyn. You want a nice finance girl or lawyer girl who lives in Long Island or Manhattan. You don't want this. You don't want like an activist, okay, who wants to make the world a better place because they can't just handle anything. I enjoyed this movie. I'm just saying this movie has now made me realize never just don't date women who live in Brooklyn. And that's it. I think it's a good movie. You should go watch it. Nothing special, but like if it pops up on like HBO Max one day, I think it's a fun thing to watch.